What's going on, guys? I am ridiculously tired. This video is probably going to be short. It might suck. I don't know. For anybody that knows, they know I know. I know some of you know that I got hired on temporarily at a place that I'm still working at now. They're going into their busy season, so from now until Christmas we're working 58-hour weeks. So, 58-hour week and cap it off with Survivor Series tonight. I have not been sleeping, and hopefully when I get this up I will go catch up on some Z's before I have to go back to work in 6 hours or so. So here we go, Survivor Series 2011. Overall, awesome show. Overall, a lot better than I think me and a lot of people were expecting. There were some letdowns, there were some things that we predicted that would be a little less than great, and they weren't, and stuff like that. But overall, awesome show. We started off right out of the bout with Morrison and Zigler. Now, Eminem and the Hardy Boys used to be a great match to start off pay-per-views because they were the type of rivalry that could get everybody really into the show and get everybody excited and get everybody amped up and energized and such. Morrison and Zigler, as far as singles go, is a very similar situation. Throughout the entire match, before I start with this match, I'm going to say the theme of tonight's show was the crowd reaction in Madison Square Garden. The crowd in Madison Square Garden was more involved tonight than the crowd in Chicago was when Punk won the title for the first time. The crowd, other than that one comparison, is more involved than I've seen the crowd, even at a pay-per-view, in a long-ass time. Through the entire Morrison-Zigler match, we had the "We Want Ryder" chants, obviously, because Ryder's got his petition and da-da-da-da. Zigler, to his credit as a true heel, mock fist-pumping to the crowd and this and that and the next thing. As I've said before, I said it a couple weeks ago on Raw, Morrison and Zigler is always a good match. There's not much I can say that's going to describe this match any better than that. One of the highlights I found was a really nice neckbreaker that Zigler hit on Morrison as Morrison was climbing through the ropes. So he was caught up in the ropes. It was kind of the same sort of position that Randy Orton puts somebody in when he does the suspension DDT, which I'll talk about later. But instead of a DDT, it was a really, decent-looking neckbreaker. Morrison kicks out after the zigzag. Really important. We all know Morrison's in the doghouse. We all know WWE's not handing Morrison anything anytime soon. But Zigler, being one of the guys that they really are behind right now, hitting his finishing move and Morrison kicking out. It's a big thing for Morrison. I don't want to get my hopes up and, he's not actually leaving, do any of that shit. But it's a big thing for him in this match, considering we knew he wasn't going to win. Running knee and the shooting star. Morrison hits the running knee, tries for the Starship Pain. It is blocked. Zigzag from Zigler, and Zigler's your winner. He keeps the U.S. Championship. Everybody's, kind of happy. I was happy to see Vicky get ejected halfway through this match because it's what everybody wants. Vicky getting ejected got the first huge pop of the night. What does that tell you? Dolph Ziggler comes out and does another one of his follow that promos, go ahead, follow that type thing. He is ambushed by Ryder, gets hit by the Rough Rider. Zack Ryder does his little celebration in the ring and leaves. It's awesome like that. Great opening match. Like I said, really sad to see Morrison in the doghouse, but if he's in the doghouse and he's still putting on good matches, it's not really that bad, is it? Now, Beth Phoenix versus Eve Torres in a Divas Championship Lumberjill match. Oh dear. The match was lame. I will give Eve Torres credit for her continuing use of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background that she does. I love the mounted triangle choke that she does, that she's sort of perfected and she's using on divas that are built enough to hold her up, like a Natalya, like a Beth Phoenix. It's a pretty, not only are you choking them out, but you're making them carry you at the same time. It's a little bit different. It's cool. It's why I would rather see Eve in this position than Kelly Kelly, because Kelly Kelly doesn't do fuck all. A super glam slam from the second rope that admittedly looked pretty damn dirty got Beth Phoenix the win, and Beth Phoenix is still your Divas Championship holder. Really bad promo in the back with David Otunga. David Otunga shouldn't talk ever. I liked that they were giving him a new character away from the Nexus and whatever. It's really not working. I don't like it. It needs to stop. That's about it. Rock pops up on the Titantron. You know, finally The Rock is back in New York. He talks about all his, you know, greatest memories in New York, in Madison Square Garden, including his debut, which was at Madison Square Garden, which was at Survivor Series. Does a big spiel about that, and we move on. The traditional Survivor Series match, Team Barrett versus Team Orton. This is Zigler's second appearance of the night, and in true heel fashion, looks into the camera as he's coming down to the ring. He says, "Oh, so I'm the one that's going to follow me." Awesome. Cody Rhodes. This is a very, very, very small thing, but it has to be pointed out. Cody Rhodes finally has knee pads. Just saying. Maybe that's why he's gotten such a push. I'm just gonna leave that idea out there. And anyways, Zigler and Kofi put a great fast-paced start into the match. Kofi tags in Orton. Orton gets an RKO and squashes Zigler. Zigler is gone. There's a melee. There's tandem suicide dives from Kofi Kingston and Sin Cara on Hunico and Swagger outside the ring. Sin Cara is injured. He is removed. Through this match, we have We Want Ryder chants. We Want Ryder chants as Sin Cara is taken out of the building away from the match. This, you know, Sin Cara should not be in multi-person matches because, you know, think back to Money in the Bank. That's when he hurt himself last time, but whatever. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton start going at it. Now, the story of this match, even though it's Team Orton versus Team Barrett, the story of this match is Cody Rhodes versus Orton, which is what it should be. But anyways, Orton eventually tags in Mason Ryan. Mason Ryan manhandles Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets a tag to Hunico. Mason Ryan manhandles Hunico for a while. Tag to Kofi. Kofi and Hunico insert the fast-paced sort of section of the match. And then Mason Ryan is tagged back in and owns Hunico some more. Cody gets the tag, Beautiful Disaster, and a Crossroads gets a pin on Mason Ryan. Mason Ryan is gone. I know everything is a little different in New York. Being in New York is kind of like being up here in Canada, where the chants and the crowd loyalty sort of lean more towards who's actually good and less towards, you know, who's face, who's heel. You know, do we chant for a real wrestler or do we chant for John Cena, more or less. But we had a loud and vicious and vibrant Cody Rhodes chant come up at that point, which was good. Progressing along, we have a Sheamus and Barrett brawl inside the ring, outside the ring, inside the ring, outside the ring. Barrett boots Kofi Kingston, gets a pin, and eliminates Kofi Kingston. Hunico hits a suicide dive on Randy Orton. And then we have more Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton doing what they do best. Sheamus steamrolls over Swagger, and Swagger is eliminated. Thank God. Oh. Yeah, Swagger's gone. Leaving Randy Orton alone, sole member of his team, etc., etc., etc. It should be said that throughout this match, they make a big deal about the 2 or 3 years in a row in Survivor Series history that Randy Orton has been the sole survivor. And for that to be, you know, even though it was only 2 or 3 years, for that to be a recognized, you know, year after year after year thing is a big thing for Orton's career. And I'm glad that they pointed it out. It should be mentioned. You know, it's like Austin winning 3 friggin' Royal Rumbles. It's a big thing to win annually for a while. Sheamus boots Swagger, Orton pins Swagger, Swagger's gone. We have more Cody and Orton, suspension DDT on Cody. Hunico gets the... I can speak, I swear. I can't read my own writing, though. Hunico gets the blind tag and attempts to jump Randy Orton from behind. Randy Orton catches him mid-air in an RKO, and with a pin, Hunico is gone. Hits the RKO on Rhodes, but Barrett jumps him with Wasteland and pins Orton for the win. Your sole survivors of this match were Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes deserves the rub of being one of the sole survivors. Not so sure about Barrett, especially Barrett being the one that gets the final pin, especially Barrett being the captain. He's going to be the big winner, isn't he? He's going to be the one that says, my team, the team that I captained, beat Randy Orton's team. And I would much rather see the progression in the Rhodes-Orton rivalry than this new Orton-Barrett rivalry, which I don't really give a fuck about. Now, I have gone on for the past couple of weeks or so about Show and Henry. and how it's boring, and how there's no way in hell that this match was going to be any good. But even a blind squirrel can find his nuts, and even a broken clock is right twice a day. This match, after what happened last month, I really wasn't sure where they were going to go with this, and I was really expecting to be disappointed. There were some things in this match that were... Why is my computer beeping at me? Just fuck off. There were things in this match that were way better than they deserved to be, or that I would have predicted for sure, and I will freely admit that before we even go. They make a big deal about the ring techs coming out and supposedly reinforcing the ring, which, you know, makes sense because we don't want to break the ring again. And Big Show has his hands taped, you know, which is, you know, more of that boxing, you know, pseudo-boxing training thing that he did way back before he fought, you know, Floyd Mayweather, who was like 1/3 his size. But, you know, obviously the weapon of mass destruction isn't, you know, powerful enough. We have to make your hand a heavier hand and something like that. So we have technical wrestling to start this match, which made me laugh a lot because it was ridiculously slow and kind of lumbering. There was a waist lock and a face lock and an arm drag, and Henry stalls like a motherfucker. Eventually starts working over Show's knee, and I will give credit. That is good storytelling. That's going back to when he broke his leg a couple months ago in the chair, and so on and so on and so on. There was a loud, boring chant from the crowd, like super loud. Show kicks out after a World's Strongest Slam. Show kicks out after a big splash. Show kicks out after a big elbow. Then we get an Undertaker chant for like a minute straight, which I unless somebody knows something I don't think Undertaker was there. I don't think he was hanging out in the back or anything like that. Henry tackles Show through the guardrail, and it wasn't very impressive looking, but it still got a holy shit chant. Mark Henry decides he's going to try and go for the superplex again, I guess, to test how reinforced the ring actually is, and it's blocked, and they lumber back into the ring, and Show hits sweet chin music on Mark Henry there, and gets an HBK chant from the crowd. Show, in one of the highlights of tonight, I will give him credit for this, makes his way very, very slowly and very, very carefully to the top rope, hits the savage elbow drop from the top rope. Did you ever think you were going to see Big Show as a high flyer? I didn't. Obviously, it wasn't as, you know, crisp and clean as somebody like Sin Cara or a Jeff Hardy or a Morrison or anything like that. But still, the sight of, you know, 7 foot, 400 whatever pound Big Show coming off the top rope was something to see, and it was very, very impressive. After all that, Mark Henry gets up and hits Big Show with a low blow, gets himself disqualified. Show gets the win, does not get the belt. Henry tries to set up the chair trap once again. Show sort of moves his leg out of the way, avoids that contact, hits him with the WWMD. Crowd obviously gets a big Daniel Bryan chant because they think, you know, Daniel Bryan's going to come and cash in and whatnot. He doesn't, thank God. I really hope he does actually wait until WrestleMania, because if he doesn't, he's going to kind of look like a douche. And I really hope by the time we get to WrestleMania, it is somebody other than Mark Henry, because Daniel Bryan has already been squashed by Mark Henry a bunch of times. So yeah, Show traps Mark Henry's leg in the chair, same way Mark Henry did to him, and leg drops the chair, and Henry leaves, not under his own power, like the Big Show promised he would. Alberto Del Rio and Punk, I'm honest to God not going to spend a lot of time talking about, because this was the match of the night. This was what a WWE Championship match should be, and I don't want to say this to be a dick, and I'm not doing this as a big rant on Cena, but it's because Cena wasn't in it. You had two legitimate wrestlers in it. You had a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart situation. You had a, I don't know, Angle, Benoit situation, even though I don't really want to reference Benoit too much on this channel in case people with their opinions and da-da-da-da-da. But it was a match like that. Two guys that actually went in there and worked their asses off. A couple things. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the crowd a lot tonight. First of all, Alberto Del Rio is obviously introduced by Ricardo Rodriguez, and the ring announcer says, now we have John Cena's special guest ring announcer, Hall of Famer Howard Finkel, and Howard Finkel comes and introduces John Cena, but he kind of looks like halfway through the introduction he forgot what he was saying, so that was kind of awkward. But it was still awesome to have Howard Finkel at Survivor Series doing the announcing, you know, flashback or a throwback to older times and Attitude Era and all that kind of thing. Fink got a huge pop, which is great. CM Punk, you almost couldn't hear his music over the pop that he got. It was fucking ridiculous. Throughout this match, there were cheers for ice cream bars and Colt Cabana. Not bad, I guess. CM Punk is not only your winner, not only your new WWE Champion, but he won by submission. And I really, really hope that this leads to what other people are talking about. I hope this rivalry will make it to WrestleMania. I really, really do. I would love nothing more than to see, like I said, how other people have already suggested it to me, a submission match for the WWE Championship between Alberto Del Rio and CM Punk at WrestleMania. Because the only other match like that I would like to see would be CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, but he's got the SmackDown, you know, Money in the Bank case. So that's not going to happen. Fuck you, booking in WWE. But if I can't have that, I will definitely take Alberto Del Rio versus Punk any day of the week now, because I've been saying it, you know, off again, on again. This is like the greatest rivalry that's never really happened. I mean, it was happening a lot, but it always included Cena. So it was always triple threat matches, or it was always, you know, special kinds of matches. And there was always that third person in the ring that we just wished would leave, you know, Cena, bye. Just, you know, you get out of the way and the wrestlers can wrestle and that'll be the end of it. But no. But Cena's off doing a circle jerk with The Rock, so he's out of the title picture for a while, and that's awesome. CM Punk is your new champion. I'm sure Alberto Del Rio is going to kick up a shit ton of fuss tomorrow night on Raw, so we'll see where that goes. I really just hope they don't drop it, and I hope they don't drop the rivalry, and I hope I hope that they put the belt on CM Punk for more than 5 minutes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, that was the main event of the night as far as I'm concerned. The icing on the cake is Rock and Cena versus the Awesome Truth. One thing I'm going to say, and I've meant to say this for a while now, I've meant to say it in one of my Raw reviews and I've never gotten around to it. Cena, when he makes his entrance, and he does that little aside, you know, side conversation with the camera as he's on his way out, it's really annoying. It would be a good move. It would be a good, you know, get under the crowd's skin move if he was a heel. But he's not. So it's just arrogant and annoying. And they need to stop it. Or they need to turn him heel, but whatever. You know, boots to asses chant before anybody was even out there. The whole boots to asses thing is going to be like the next thing. It's going to be like the next thing after, you know, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Anyways, they all come down to the ring. There was no real big elaborate entrance for The Rock. They just hit his music and he came out like anybody else, which I guess is good in a way, but at the same time, he hasn't wrestled in like 7 years. They could have given him a bit of pageantry that way, and I'm surprised actually that they didn't, with the amount of ass kissing they've been doing him up to this match. Anyways, The Rock actually starts the match with a big bit of opening flurry and fury, and, you know, knocking down Miz, knocking down Truth, knocking down Miz, knocking down Truth, out wrestling both of them, arm drags for everybody, spine busters for everybody, huge, gigantic vocal "You've Still Got It" chant. He's in the ring with the Miz, calls out R-Truth calls out him. They go at it for a while. Rock almost gets a pin on R-Truth. Cena accidentally distracts the ref, so dissension. Miz tags back in, says he wants Cena, which leads to the Fruity Pebbles chant. Cena actually comes in, and despite the "you can't wrestle, you still suck" chants, Cena tries to chain wrestle, and it's just awkward, because he can't. Cena and Truth end up in a brawl. Miz and Truth double-team Cena for a long-ass time while the Cena sucks chants roll on. Miz hits the... It's not a huge thing, but when Miz has his opponent on their knees and he hits that short snap DDT, it's a beautiful move. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Cena sucks chants turn into Cena sucks, we want Rocky chants. Rock, the entire 20 or 15 minutes that Cena is getting double teamed like a bitch, sits on the ring pretty much not doing anything, walking up and down the ring apron, which I thought was interesting. Miz and Truth cut off the ring. You know, they've got all the tag team stuff going. They've got, you know, cutting off the ring, the quick tags, you know, the shady, questionable double team tactics. Cena gets an STF on the Miz that lasts all of about 2 seconds. You know, hits an attitude adjustment on Truth, but can't do much to follow up on it. Truth jumps The Rock for no reason on the outside, which is, you know, ridiculous considering Miz and Cena are still in the ring. Rock finally gets the hot tag and cleans house. Rock bottom on Truth, sharpshooter on the Miz, DDT by R-Truth on The Rock to get the Miz out of the sharpshooter. Cena basically tackles Truth really, really awkwardly out of the ring so that Rock can hit the spinebuster and the people's elbow on the Miz and get the win. The win was ridiculously anticlimactic. Ridiculously. For what this match should have been. There should have been a big, ridiculous, elaborate ending, and there wasn't. And that was a big letdown. The Rock and Cena won, which was a big letdown. I really, really think in their dissension, if they had not worked as a team and one of them had screwed the other one over and Miz and Truth had won the match, Miz and Truth could use the rub and it wouldn't hurt them at all, but they didn't go that way, obviously. Cena just walks away. You know, Rock's the one that actually got the pin. Rock's the one that actually got the win. He sort of leaves him the ring and says, okay, I'm done. The Rock calls him back and says, come on, come in, you know, come into the ring and why don't we both pose like they did, like him and Punk did a while ago. Rock goes up on the turnbuckle, gets a ridiculous cheer. Cena gets up on his turnbuckle and is booed. Like, if he was booed any louder, the ring would have shook. If he was booed any louder, we would have seen the cameras vibrate. That was how low and loud the booing was for Cena. And then they got all back face to face again. Rock's trying to get him to go up and pose one more time, and instead Cena walks away. Turns back to The Rock, right into a rock bottom, and that is how I wanted the show to end. I didn't care how. I wanted Cena to end the show on his back, like the bitch that he is, and he did, and The Rock is riding high, and the Miz and R-Truth did not get the push they deserved, but that's okay. Overall, like I say, awesome show. I knew the real match that I was tuning in to see was Alberto Del Rio versus Punk. That match was stupendous. I would have loved it if Alberto Del Rio had kept the belt or not. The fact that Punk did win is just icing on the cake for me. Personal favorite of mine is always seeing Morrison and Zigler go at it. There were some nice spots that I didn't expect in the Show and Henry match. There were some nice spots in the Divas match that I didn't expect very much. We did get a traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 match, even though it wasn't, you know, totally earth-shattering. For 6 matches, they filled the 3 hours, give or take 10 minutes. It wasn't a half-ass put-together show. It was a really, really good show. I really don't know what else to say, but I've already rambled on for 23 minutes and change, so I am going to try and get some sleep. I will talk to you guys tomorrow night after Raw, but until then, I've been Spaz. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Let me know what you thought about Survivor Series. I know there are people out there that disagree with me. Start a conversation, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.
Get up, come on, get down.